Ooh, what's going on, guys? Zephyrnix here, and today I'm going to show you my build for Elder Scrolls Online Warden build, best healer slash damage dealer. Now, what do I mean by that? Basically, I can go ahead and do the best of healing and literally with one button do the best of damage dealing. It is absolutely incredible. I don't have to switch outfits or switch builds in order to go ahead and do this. I am just that damn good. I'm just that damn good. I'm going to go ahead and show you right now. So, first and foremost, this is my Brenton character right here. We've got a Brenton Warden ready to go. He is level 50 already. So let's go ahead and jump into it right here. First and foremost, let's go ahead and show you what I have in terms of armor here. So the first thing I advise you to do is get ready to go ahead and do that grind. What you want to do is you want to get a set that will go ahead and be offensive as well as defensive, you know. So I chose, first of all, we're even getting to the set, the Munda Stone. You need to get spell damage Munda Stone. Now, I know what you're thinking, well, I just said healer, right? Well, you understand the damage dealer part, but what about the healer part? You know, obviously you need to get the healing Munda Stone, right? No. Here's the thing. When you do spell damage also equals to healing as well. So think of it, instead of saying spell damage, think of it as spell output, okay? Because it go ahead and shows you, or spell power, should we say. Because the more spell power you have, the more powerful your spells will be, no matter if it's healing or offensive spells. So yes, spell damage or spell output should be a Munda Stone. Now with that in mind, first and foremost, I got the combat physician set. Now the reason why is because most, if not all, spells pretty much go between the damage that you do or the healing that you do is indicated between A, the maximum magic that you have, B, the spell critical that you have, and C, the spell damage that you have. So what I've done is I've got this particular build right here because, number one, when it comes down to the combat physician set, it'll enhance my maximum magicka, once again, giving me more power when it comes down to, you know, casting spells, or more effectiveness casting spells, plus more resources. Duh. Number 2 and 3, it should be spell critical. Now, critical is a very, dare I say it, critical part. I did it. No, it's a critical part of this whole build here. And the reason why is the last part right here. When you critically heal a friendly target or yourself, you grant them a damage shield that absorbs 7,719 damage for 6 seconds. This can occur every 6 seconds. So every 6 seconds, you could be putting a damage shield on someone. That's very, 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 very good. That means that you, as a healer, will go ahead and be able to not heal as much because they're not taking any damage. Makes sense, right? Exactly. Thus allowing you to save resources, etc., etc., etc. If you got that joke, well, you probably didn't get that joke, so it's okay. Anyway, so that's the one thing here, okay? Now, this is a build that you need to go ahead and grind. You need to go ahead and look for this build. What about builds that you need to go ahead and craft? Because while you grind for this one, you want to craft the other one. The reason why you want to craft the other one, because obviously you want to go ahead and make sure that you have 100% control, or however percent control the game gives you, in terms of what you want that particular type of armor to be. Now, before I even begin, I'd just like to say that I like to go ahead and make sure that the helmet and the chest part is always crafted because I like to control the way my character looks as much as possible. So those are the biggest parts, that are the first thing people look at. So that's the reason why I always try my best to go ahead and make those crafting. So the crafting one, I used the Juliano set. The Juliano set is really good because from the very beginning, it gives you spell critical, then on top of that, maximum magicka, then spell critical again, then spell damage again. So remember, criticals always, they go ahead and kind of piggyback off the damage. So the more damage that you have, the more criticals, the more powerful your critical will be. And then on top of that, remember, the more critical that you have, the more the more of a chance you'll get your damage shield off. Makes sense, right? That's how it works. Sense. Now, what I like to do too is that while I'm here, when I go ahead and craft my stuff, I like to go ahead and craft it for the divines. That means I want the divine trait on there. The reason why is because it will go ahead and enhance my Munda Stone. Once again, that sense comes into play. Well, the more Munda Stone, the more spell damage that I have, which is the Munda Stone that I have. So if I have the Munda Stone, that means that it'll go ahead and heal better, I'll get more potent heals. So that means that if I have outfits with the Munda Stone enhancement on it, that means that my actual spell damage or my spells will be more potent than it was without it. Ta-da! All right, so that's pretty much it. So I go ahead and craft all of them with Munda Stone. I try to keep it, you know, gold, purple. If you can get gold, great. If you can't get gold and you can't get purple, get purple. You know, go get all Grimace up in this heal. So, you know, I like to call it ghetto Grimace, basically. Go ahead and wear purple and gold, okay? If you don't know who Grimace is, congratulations, you have great health. Anyway, so seriously, McDonald's is really bad for you. So anyway, what I've done is this. I got the traits on there for Munda Stone to enhance my spell abilities right here. So now, if you look at the enchantments, I do have health enchantments, but I'd like to go ahead and get, try to put on magic enchantments too as much as possible. So I got 3 health enchantments, and I think the rest were magic enchantments. Yeah. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, your rings and your necklace should be whatever that you were grinding for, in this case, this combat position, okay? So when you're doing that, make sure that all 3 of them has the spell damage enchantment on them, okay? That needs to be. That means that, well, we already talked about that. No sense of beating a dead horse, you know? So, yes. So you have all your spell enchantments on. That means that you are pushing out major amounts of spell damage or spell healing, potent spells, if you will. Yes, we're going to beat that dead horse, apparently, with these particular with these particular enchantments on. So, very good, very good. Now, if you see here, you'll notice that I have, oh, no, I don't. Now, you also want to try to get the ones with arcane on them, if you can. You see here, I got one with robust, which gives me more maximum stamina. It's fine. You know, as long as it's the first 2 has magicka on it, I'm fine. Okay? So there you go. And of course, your weapon should be crafted and has the Juliana's one as well. Okay. So pretty much that's where we come from right here. So if you look here, we got spell damage right here, 2,254, while we also have spell critical at 52%. That means that more than half of the time, I'm going to be doing criticals. But it gets even better than that. Let's go ahead and check out my skills here for my healing. All right, so first and foremost, what I want to do is I want to do Enchanted Growth. Now, Enchanted Growth is basically the first thing that you get to on your green balance here. I forget the original version is, but you want to evolve it to Enchanted Growth. The reason why is because from the very beginning, it does a good amount of healing right in front of you. So, as you see right there, it does 5,766, and that's critical right there. And notice, oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't critical, that was regular. Critical, it does 8,876. So, and you see right there, I can keep casting it, and it does do a critical a good amount of times. And even when it's not doing criticals, it's still doing a good amount of healing. There you go. That's that build for you. All right, so that's number 1. But then also look at this. It says right at the bottom, that allies affected will also gain minor intellect and minor endurance, okay? So that's good right there because both of those will increase your magicka and your stamina recovery. Not just you, but whoever gets it. So that's really good because it enhances the party overall. So I'm going to get the benefit of increased magicka recovery while I go ahead, saw the thing moving. While I'll go ahead and my party members will get the benefits of either magic recovery or stamina recovery. It's really good. So before we go forward, let's stop for a second and look at the passives because you want the passives. Of course you want the passive. Why would you not? So the first one is accelerated growth. When healing you or an ally under 40% health with the green balance ability, this is the reason why you always want to, if you're a healer, you want to try your best to stick to whatever you're healing with. That means that if you're going to heal with the healing staff, stay with the healing staff. Now you notice I have a healing staff on there, but you know I don't have any healing staff abilities here. That's just because of the fact that I like the healing staff. I like the way the beam looks. That literally, it's an aesthetic look, honestly. So right here, anyone under 40 health who gets healed by my particular spells here under green balance will go ahead and get major mending, you know, which increases the healing done by 25%. You know, and that's of course before the actual spell casts, thus allowing you to get that spell that I just cast will be much stronger. So where this one heals for a regular of 5,700, it'll probably heal for about, I would say, 6,000 and something, or maybe even 7,000. And of course, when it critics, it'll probably heal for about 10,000 if I was below 40. So that's the good part about that one right there. The second one is Nature's Gift. When healing an ally with the green balance ability, you gain 250 magicka or 250 stamina. Restores your lowest resource pool. So basically, whichever pool is the lowest, I'll get it back, basically. So yes, that makes sense. That's exactly what I want. Emerald Moss, increasing healing done for green balance abilities by 2% for each green balance ability slotted. That basically means that all of the healing spells that I use on green balance will go ahead and be enhanced by, as you see there, my current bonus is in fact 10%, guys, 10%. 10% bonus on my healing. That's great. That's fantastic. Last but not least, we have maturation. When healing you or your ally, grant them minor toughness, which increases the max health by 10% for 10 seconds. That means that actually it will go ahead, if I'm healed in any way, shape, or form, it'll go ahead and give me a 10% chance, it'll give me a chance to get maximum health upgrade by 10% of whatever my maximum health is. That's really good. That's really great, especially for warriors in your class. You know, so I mean, in your party rather. So if you're healing someone, say I got a warrior teammate, Casso, who will go ahead and fighting, and I heal him with this particular spell, you know, all of a sudden, bang, zoom. All of a sudden now, his stamina is getting recovered, his magic is getting recovered. He does play a hybrid build, so his magic is getting recovered. And then on top of that, he's also has major toughness, which basically means that there's a, it'll stop him from getting hurt all the damn time. It'll enhance his health. Now, of course, that's assuming that's a backup for this. Keep in mind, combat physician will give them a spell damage. So if the spell damage wears off, or if it doesn't proc, bang, he has a backup, which is enhanced toughness, or minor toughness, minor toughness. Okay, so that's fantastic. Okay, so let's go back to the skills now. So the second skill we have on here is Budding Seeds, which is the evolution of the second one here. Now, Budding Seeds is very, very cool. What it does is it summons a field of flowers which bloom after 6 seconds, healing you and your allies in the area for 8,648 points of health, okay? Keep in mind, the original one that I just cast only does 5,700. This one does 8,600, okay? So it's really good to kind of do them both. So you can go ahead and do this one. This is the one, as you see here, it likes little mangrove flowers, and then you'll get a visual clue when it bursts, because you get that big white thing here, and of course, I just got the healing for exactly what it said it was. So I can go ahead and do healing like this, so, and I can keep them healed, and then bang, this clicks off here, another healing. This is really good, a really good combo for when you're fighting a really tough boss who is doing massive amounts of damage and you just can't keep up. You know, also for those guys who like to go ahead and run across the field and you got to heal them. Keep in mind too, I can go ahead and put this healing thing anywhere that I want, you know. You know, it's all the way over there because, you know, that guy likes to go ahead and run around. You know, they don't want to stay in front of the healer because that would just make sense. They don't want to do that. They want to run around like chickens. So that's how it works. But it gets better than that. It says, while the field grows, you can activate this ability again. If you activate the ability again, it will burst instantly. So as I told you before, it'll go here. This is how it works regularly. 6 seconds, 5, 6, burst. Okay, oh, and I critic, nice. Critics for 13,000, by the way. But I can also do it instantly. Hit 3 again, automatically does it. So it works. It works for no matter what you want to do. So if you want to go ahead and use this one as your main healing, you can. Or you can use this one. You know, whichever one that you want to use, it's up to you. But also at the bottom it says, allies within the field can activate Harvest Synergy, healing themselves for 8,148. So that means that if I go ahead, wrong spell. If I can go ahead and do this, you know, Casso or any other person around me can go ahead and hit X and they can heal themselves within those 6 seconds without me having to do that, you know. So they'll see it and they'll be able to go ahead and heal themselves. really good, allowing you're doing good, healing them, and they can heal themselves when they feel like they're in a real bind. So the next one is actually the next one is Lichvines, which is the evolution of number 3. So basically, Lichvines is basically grows vines to embrace you or the lowest health ally in front of you for 10 seconds. The vines heal the target for 1,743 health each time they take damage. So every time you take damage, when you have this on, every time that you take damage, you're getting Every time that enemy is giving you the bad baby, you can go ahead and get healed for 1,700. So it works. It works out very well. Now, like I said, I have Lichvines, and what that does is that will go ahead and apply a minor lifesteal to whomever hits you. So every time they give you the bad baby, you're giving them the pimp slap. Bad baby, pimp slap. Bad baby, pimp slap. You get how it works, right? So it's not a very good pimp slap, but you get the idea because it only heals for about, I think it's 636. But it's not supposed to give this major amount of healing. It's just supposed to go ahead and do that one particular type of damage. Anyway, any particular type of healing that you can give is really good. So definitely Lichvines is really good here. Now, the next one is Lotus Blossom. Lotus Blossom is absolutely incredible. This is, I believe, is the evolution of whatever is here in Lotus Blossom. I don't know what the evolution is once again, but here's how it works. So embrace the Lotus Blossom, embrace the Lotus Blessing, causing light attacks to restore 1,500 health, and your fully charged heavy attacks to restore 4,593 health to you or a nearby ally for 20 seconds. For 20 seconds. That means that for 20 seconds, you can do regular attacks and everyone will be healed. This is really good for when you're not really fighting a boss character and you're fighting like a regular type of character. So they're getting healed around you by the Lotus Blossom. And on top of that, if you do have a healing staff, for those who don't know, when you're doing a healing staff and you do a heavy attack, it'll go ahead and give someone around them an extra heal. So literally, you have two types of healing going off. And of course, these healings are subject to criticals, which also gives you subject to damage shield. So you see how this damage shield, the reason why this is so critical on criticals is because the damage shields really come in handy. And of course, like I said before, the reason why I don't do critical Munda Stone is for this particular reason right here. These last two spells are very important. So what it does is, we already talked about what it does, and this is how it looks. So it doesn't have too much of a tail right there, but while your arms are glowing, I can go ahead and keep hitting, and every time I hit someone, I will go ahead and get a heal, okay? So I will go ahead and get a heal, and eventually my the shield will actually proc. So on top of that, though, if you keep reading here, it says, caster gains major prophecy, increasing spell critical by 2,190 for 20 seconds. So just to give you an idea, look right here, spell critical, 52%, okay? If I cast this, 62%. That means that more likely than not, I will go ahead and be able to heal with a critical. So I got 3 criticals within 5. Okay, 4 criticals. So as you see there, plenty of criticals going around. So that's how that works. Last but not least is this one. Now, this one actually does not come from the actual Green Balance skill line. This one actually comes from the Animal Companion skill line. So basically what this does is, it's called something Betty, I believe what it's called, but it's the evolution of a Blue Betty. What the Blue Betty does is it actually will go ahead and, as it says right there, it says call a Betty niche, that's what we call Betty niche for the record, that restores 3,871 magicka over 24 seconds. It also gives you major sorcery, which increases your spell damage by 20% over 26 seconds. And also, when activated, it removes any negative effects. So, this is how it looks. And that's what it does. All it does is sit there and will give you, just constantly giving you magicka, 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 choo-choo! And that's all it does. So, just remove it and put it back in there so I can turn it back on. So, I want you to go ahead and take a look at this. Now, spell damage. 2,700, right? So when we go ahead and use it, it goes from 2,700 for some reason didn't upgrade now. For some reason. Hold on a second. Why didn't it upgrade? Am I reading that wrong? Gaining major sorcery. I got major sorcery on me. Okay, so maybe it doesn't show under spell damage apparently. So let's go ahead and find out if it really works here. So let's wait for it to end. It should be ending soon. 1, 0, and bye-bye. Okay, so I know you just saw that healing. We'll get to that in a minute. So let's see. Let's see how much of critic it does. Okay, 8,800, right? So let's go ahead and activate this and see how much it does. See if it works. 9,700. So it does work. Just put it out there. So there you go. It does work. So, however, the big question is what happens when you use both of them? There you go. 6,900 really good good things right there. So right there, when you have those two on and you're healing, you're literally healing for almost slightly shy of 10,000. Okay? So excellent. Last but not least is this Healing Thicket, which I call the Mana Tree. Basically what happens is that when you cast it, it'll go ahead and put, it says swell a healing forest in the target area, instantly healing most of the injured friendlies targets, the most injured friendly targets for 7,472. The forecast continues to heal you and your allies for an additional 2,495 for every 1 second for 6 seconds. Once it's done, the healing will continue, the healing over time will continue to heal you and your allies for 4 seconds after leaving the forest. So basically, I wonder for a second here, 6, 7, let me see something here. And it enhances with the, if you go ahead and get the Blue Betty and whatever, it enhances the healing as well. So I can go ahead and do this. And as you see, massive amounts of healing. Massive amounts of healing. Now, as you see right there, like I said before, this particular animal is actually from the other slot, the Animal Companions. So, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to switch over to the offensive set here and talk about my offensive, or how to do major amounts of damage here with this particular class here. So this is going to be very interesting here. So before we get into it, note something, that all I did was switch my staff from a restore staff to a lightning staff. That easy. That's all I did. Now, let's talk about what I have right here. So right now I'm using primarily my Animal Companions. Now, I'm using those guys to do the most damage here, and I'm going to explain to you why in a minute. First of all, let's talk about the passives. Number one, I get Bond with Nature. Now, keep in mind, with all these passives I have right here, I also get these passives with the fact that I'm using Blue Betty as well. So, number one, I get Bond with Nature. When one of your Animal Companions is killed or unsummoned, you restore 1,335 health. That means that every time one of my guys are unsummoned, for whatever reason, I get healed. So remember when the Blue Betty disappeared and I got healed? That's the reason why. Now, the good thing about that is that most of these creatures, they just come for a second and then they disappear. So I'm constantly getting healed with that. Number two, it's Savage Beast. Activating an Animal Companion ability grants 4 ultimate. Just activating it grants 4 ultimate. And then, of course, the effect has a cooldown for 8 seconds. So I literally, as much as I'm using this, for every 8 seconds, I can be granted 4 ultimate. Fantastic. Flourish. Increasing your magicka and stamina recovery by 12% if an Animal Companion is slotted. That means that, number one, right here, as long as I got it slotted, I can actually get 12% increase in my magicka and stamina recovery. Also, going back to my original point, the fact that I have the Blue Betty here in my healing area gives me an additional 12% of the same thing because I have it slotted. Advanced species. Increase your damage done by 2% for each animal companion slotted. So right here, I got 10%. So if I go into healing mode, I got 2%, which 2% is nice. But here, 10% because that's my offensive capabilities here. So that's where it works out. And the reason why, like of course, well, we'll go back in a minute here. So we got all the passives done. Let's go ahead and talk about what we're using here. So number one, we have Screaming Cliff Racer, which is the magical evolution of whatever this is. I think it's Cliff Racer or something like that, or Speed Racer, I don't know. Anyway, what it does is it commands a racer to come down and do a dive bomb on the enemy, doing 5,959 magical damage. And of course, it does more damage for those who are far away from us. Now let's stop right here because we're like, well, wait a minute. Why don't you just use the destruction staff? I got a good reason for that. Because like this one actually does more damage. Like for example, this one only does 4,188 damage. This one only does 1,161 magical damage. You know, but this from the very beginning does 5,959 points of damage, and this is the base. If I was to stand away, I would get a 15% up to 50% scale upgrade on the damage. So that's the reason why I say use exclusively the animal companions, almost exclusively, but we'll get to that in a minute. The second one is Deep Fissure. I absolutely love Deep Fissure. Oh, I'm sorry, go back to this one. Remember, what happens here is that this one, for 1 second, it takes 1 second to cast, it comes, it unsummons. That's all it does. Comes, hits, unsummons. Come, hits, unsummons. So basically when that happens, that basically means that I'm getting healed. As we talked about Bond with Nature, I'm getting healed for 1,335 every time it unsummons. Then on top of that, I have Deep Fissure, which takes 3 seconds to cast. But when it casts, it'll go ahead and do 7,894 magical damage and then disappear. Once again, I'm getting a heal bonus that I talked about before with this major amount of damage that it's doing. Damn. So already, within 3 seconds, I can literally do, let's see, 5... So I can do about 12,000 points of damage already. Okay? Bang, zoom. The third one I have here is Growing Swarm. Growing Swarm will go ahead and produce a swarm that will go ahead and do a over 10 seconds, do a maximum of 11,790 points of magical damage. Okay? Then it'll go ahead and infect up to 6 new targets if that particular enemy is destroyed. So think about that for a second. That brings up a whole new level of fun and definite possibilities here. So imagine you're in a party, right? You got the boss, right? Now your job is to do damage, right? But you got the ads or the minions that come up, right? So what I can do is I can go ahead and focus on the minions. I can use, Growing Swarm. And once Growing Swarm is on the minions and it actually destroys after I destroy the minion, it'll affect the boss and any other minions over there. And it keeps affecting people. I love it. It's a fantastic move. Now, the fourth one here is Blue Betty. We already talked about what Blue Betty does already, so we don't need to even go through that already. But long story short, it gives me Magicka, which is exactly what we wanted. But then the last one here is actually Lotus Blossom. That means that we already talked about Lotus Blossom and how it allows me to heal, but for every attack that I do, and as well as give me Major Prophecy, so which means that already the fact that this does 5,959, if I do Lotus Blossom, that means that it's going to go ahead and now, right, I forgot Lotus Blossom doesn't actually show. It shows the damage when you're actually doing it, but it doesn't show right there. But I can still use this one and this one to enhance the actual damage output of this character here. So I use this one, which is gives me increase the spell damage. Wait. Oh, that's the reason why it doesn't show. This one increases, Lotus Blossom increases spell critical, and Blue Betty increases spell damage. So as you see right here, I'm already doing 6,555 on Screaming Razor, which only did 5,900. And this one does over 8,000. God, whoa! You see what I'm getting at, right? Last but not least, my ultimate is Eternal Guardian. Not only is Eternal Guardian a pet that actually does damage by itself, but it actually has its own ultimate. which I can go ahead and use every time I want to, which does 11,000 points of damage automatically. So, and it scales with Blue Betty. So there you go. Went from 11 to 12,000. Fantastic. So allow me to go ahead and show. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and bring forth the healing one here. So we got some enemies right here. We're going to go for these enemies over here. Now, we're just going to sit here and let them kind of tap us a little bit here, just so we can go ahead and show what's going on here. Blue Betty, disappear. Okay. So I'm just using regular things here. So notice I healing. Now, remember that damage shield I talked about? Damage shield is up. So look at him, hit me, nothing. So, bang, damage shield again. Look how fast that was. And if you look at my hit points, I just saw it come at the last second. And then if you look at my hit points, they were actually enhancing as well. Because I'm getting damage shield and I got toughness on, major toughness. Remember that major toughness we talked about earlier? There you go. Okay, let's take this guy out real quick. Okay, so as you see here, and I can cast the budding spells one here. So he's attacking me, he's attacking me. I get healed. And of course, here's one I can, I can execute it automatically. There you go. So what about leeching? So here's the leeching one. So if you look up there, at the very top there, I'm going to point to it, but at the very top, up there, it's got minor lifesteal on. So that's the way that one works. So it works really cool. I got minor lifesteal on. But another thing is that if you notice, I'm automatically getting the shield. But I haven't cast a healing spell. The reason why I'm getting that is because, remember, this allows every time the bad guy heals me, somebody the bad guy hits me, I get healed. So as long as I'm receiving a healing from me, I can actually go ahead and attack them. As long as I'm getting a healing that was caused originally by me, affected by me, I will go ahead and get that shield. So let's get one more shield going. So there we go. So it works just like that. So I'm healing, and like I said, absolutely no problem whatsoever. As a healer, I'm staying alive, which the more I stay alive, the more of a chance I get to go ahead and actually help my friends out. So what about damage? Well, damage works the same exact way. So here, I'll show you, for example, here, I can stay all the way over here, and I can go and do damage. And this is how I really do it. First, I'll show you exactly what damage does. So from over here, watch this. 2,000 damage. I'm sorry, not 2,000 damage. That was 2,000 healing, I believe. I did 6,000, 8,600 for damage. So notice over there how my character is actually healing, okay? Wait for the other creature to leave. Right, okay. So notice how I got the shield up, right? You see the shield? But remember, I have no healing spells with the exception of Lotus on me. I haven't used Lotus yet. And the reason why is for the exact reason I told you. Every time one of those guys disappears, he goes and summons. He disappears, I get a healing for that. And that healing is also subject to critics. It's the reason why I'm getting 2,000. So that's how that works. Very easy. Check it out. This one, 3 seconds, and it does a cone of damage right in front of me. Did damage for him for 7,400. Did a critical for 11,000. And last but not least, the bugs. So as you see right there, bang, 2,000, 1,800, 2,800, 1,800, dead. We kill bugs, dead. And keep in mind, this is all that damage, all this is done without the actual enhancement yet. I haven't yet put on Lotus Blossom, nor did I put on Blue Betty, and I damn sure didn't put on a bear yet. So let's go and see what happens when you do that. So I'm going to put on enhancement. I'm just going to use the, let's go do this. Look at that, 6,000, 6,000. Guy barely got a hit on me. And I already did some, what is that? Magic, when you take damage, you're not going to use. Oh, that's a very interesting thing. Oh, let me get some rubyite real quick. That's right. In the middle of this whole thing, I'm going to go ahead and mine. So, even the bugs, look at the bugs. Let's see how well the bugs do. Look at this, 2,000. Oh, I forgot to put the other thing on. So if I'm really in the battle here, that's how it'll work out. So what I want to do is, if I'm in a real battle here, I want to stay away from as far as possible. I'll use number 1, which is Screaming Cliff, followed by Growing Swarm, followed by Deep Fissure. The reason why is because they'll come to me, or I'll come to them, depending on the situation. So, for example, if they are spellcasters, I got to come to them. But within those 3 seconds, I'll find out if they're spellcasters or not, or if I know already, it also helps. And then I'll get them. So watch this. See that spellcaster right there? 1, 3, 2. So I'm already close to him. And already I got close enough for Fissure to get done. And once Fissure casts, I can cast it again. Let's try to keep them in a line. Oh, someone behind me? And bang. And there you go. So not only that though, here's the cool part about this particular one. Even though I have light armor on, I really don't even need to have a staff on there. So I can go ahead and do this. I know I saw that repop, but so watch this. So keep in mind, I got this thing on, right? And the Julianos is on it's actually on the shield. See, the Julianos was actually on the shield, and I still did all the damage that I needed to do. So let me go back here and put the shield on. Where's the shield of Julianos? Shield of Julianos. So now, I am now light armor with a sword, well, it could be a sword and shield, or in my case, a mace and shield. I like the mace look for my healers. You know, go to that old school cleric look. And I can still do exactly what I need to do. Now, if you do this, I recommend making sure that if that means that you'll need to go up close if you really want to hit them. Now, you don't really need to hit them, and I advise you not to. You have way too many powerful spells in your repertoire to go ahead and be attacking someone up close here. Why? Don't be stupid. But just in case, I go ahead and put increased physical and spell resistance on my mace, and increase this item's armor value 14% on my shield. But that's assuming they come to me. They won't need to come to me. Watch this. Same thing. I'm doing major amounts of damage already. Look, I don't even need to come to. I don't even need to come to you. I'm just going to go ahead and hit you from here. Bang. Sorry about that. It's a little hot in here, so I'm in Florida after all. Just saying. So, and then there you go. Once again, the character works fantastic. Now, this build works with virtually anything. I definitely recommend you go ahead and try this build out for yourselves. I figured I'd go ahead and share it to show you how I am kicking everybody's ass up in here. You guys have a good night. Zeph out.